So yeah, it's always been something that I've done throughout, where I look at everything. So be it, so it's like we sit in the business, or we sit in these teams, and we just kind of identify where is my customer.
I want to understand, Rati, from your perspective, since the digital transformation wave is happening, how has marketing in professional services that has got evolved, and what digital strategies that have proven effective into this?
Another thing that I think from a technology perspective that I feel really is something that we marketers need to use is the CRM database, and how the
Okay.
marketing strategies can kind of interject into that, like get a little bit more focused on your client, understand your clients.
Welcome to Icons Behind Brands. Hi, this is Devlina, your host. I'm back with one more exciting episode today. And in our upcoming episode, we are honored to host Ms. Rati Acharya, who is the head of marketing at Mazars in India and a distinguished member of Marketing Advisory Board at Amiza Inc. With a dynamic career spanning over 20 years across diverse sectors globally, including financial services, healthcare, education, Rati is a strategic powerhouse specializing in B2B and B2G ecosystem. She excels the driving business objective through innovative marketing strategies, brand activation, and impactful campaigns like 360-degree marketing activities. So join us as Rati shares insights into the ethical leadership, organizational culture, and dynamic world of business marketing. A very warm welcome to you, Rati, on Icons Behind Brands.
Hi, I'm really excited for this.
And Rati, before we start, I would love to know about your little background, the journey so far, and
Yeah.
let's move ahead through from
Okay.
there.
So just to give you a little bit of journey, I'm an engineer
Mhm.
by education. I've done my engineering, and then I've done my master's in information management. And for a long time, I was into consulting. I have spent, my entire, I've spent a good amount of my career in
Mhm.
consulting business.
Mhm.
So Deloitte actually gave me this opportunity, and
Okay.
and that's where it started with looking at marketing. And it's literally started from building a team, setting up processes, and so on and so forth. So
Superb.
Deloitte was my first where I started doing this marketing. Then I got the opportunity to work for Ampersand, and
Mhm.
then I started working for Mazars right now.
Superb.
It's been great. And yeah, like I said, it definitely helps knowing business, and knowing how P&Ls are created, what kind of challenges one has, what is my customer base, and all of that definitely helps, which I think is the core of marketing, which helps me drive it rather than be a support function, in most organizations.
What are the functions you are handling? You are handling particularly the digital functions, or you are handling the
So
whole marketing?
yes. Again, another, I think definitely thank my stars for it. I have always handled the entire,
Oh.
360
Mhm.
marketing. So,
Mhm.
and that's just a little bit, maybe I can tell you about how professional services work, right? What
Mhm.
happens is, a lot of times there is a central comms team that drives most of the activities, and they're sitting
Mhm.
centrally. There's a lot of PR work that used to happen, that sort of a thing. Digital and all is like come much later on,
Yeah.
but it's a central team which works mostly from a comms perspective. And so what happens is, when you're a part of business, you also have a lot of pressure, or rather you start getting aligned to what the business needs very directly, in the sense, it's like, okay, I need to do this pitch, and where
Mhm.
can you input, and
Mhm.
not just from a perspective of giving you clean slides or well formatted slides, but how do we narrate the whole thing, how do we structure
Okay.
the entire
Okay.
presentation. So those kind of things, you get that immediate this thing. So yeah, it's always been something that I've done throughout, where I look at everything. So be it, social, be it offline marketing, be it events. So it's like we sit in the business, or we sit in these teams, and we just kind of identify where is my customer, where can I tap in that thing, where can he make sure that he is aware of me.
I want to understand, Rati, from your perspective, like since the digital transformation wave is happening, how has marketing in professional services that has got evolved, and what digital strategies that have proven effective into this?
Now with digital platforms there, right? Like all our work, being online, social media, and all of those things, we are there is a major thing of speed to the market that has happened. Before the offlines, we used to have, like, say, a billboard or a hoarding, or you're doing an event, it's all localized into one sector, geography, whatever.
Right.
Here it's like, we are building content initially, at least if there's a launch or something, you're building content for a larger audience, and you're building content for the entire geography, or whoever is your follower base, you're building content for them. And then you can start customizing it when you localize it. So the speed definitely is one of the thing that I would say. Then your content is getting a wider reach,
Improved.
and you're building content for a larger audience. For example, we used to have a roundtable which we used to have physical. That got shifted to a webinar. So some of these things became very it was a seamless shift that happened again into moving into digital platforms. We started putting a lot more content on social media. Our frequency increased, and now also it's increased. And so in the sense, that there is more content, there are more, it lands on more people's feed, and all of that stuff. There is a theory that we, or rather a lot of work that we do, looking at analytics as well, to see what kind of content is working and that sort of a thing. I genuinely feel that with professional services, again, because it's our entire work is to build relationships with our stakeholders. And when I say with our target, and our target is not just our clients. Like, I want government bodies also to realize that that we are an organization where we have really smart people, subject matter experts. So when they are coming up with a policy, I want them to work with us. I want media houses to also recognize us as an important company, because if there is say there is some policy change or anything that has happened and they need a quote, I want them to think about me. I want the right people to also come into my organization, because we want good employees also. So if I'm looking at all of these things, there is a lot of, like, we are generally building a lot of trust into this thing. So there's nothing specific that I'm saying that, okay, this is the digital strategy that we would move, but we use all the platforms that are available to us. It's a mix of offline and online. So it's all just based on what we are doing at that point of time.
So how, that is transforming the landscape of B2B and B2G marketing strategies in this coming year? How do you foresee that?
With everything moving on to a digital platform, there is so much data that is available, but it's not everybody's cup of tea. I feel like there are very few people who know exactly how to use that data in professional services. I think in in other kind of sectors and businesses, it still works really. There's a lot of ways one can figure out whether your customers are buying it. There's all of that stuff here.
Yes.
There's a lot of data that we use, and what we typically do is we do a lot of experimenting. In the sense, we'll try something, we'll try, say, a campaign, and try and see whether that's working or not. And if it is, and as opposed to what we've been doing before. So we keep trying different things. Like recently, now, I think yesterday only, one of my team member came up with this whole thing of, why don't we do something on, like, what's your midday coffee? What is brewing? Like, what's your midday coffee brew or something?
Awesome.
Where people then start engaging with some sort of, either their own pictures and those kind of things. So we are also trying constantly to figure out, whether what kind of on social media, what kind of engagements help a lot, and how consistent we need to be, whether it's fine to put posts in the morning. So we're doing a lot of that stuff. I know that there is a lot of information already there, and there are a lot of these data points that is generally there, that if you do it at this point or this point, but it works very differently for professional services. That is one thing I've realized. And also the social media handles keep changing their algorithm, so we are constantly trying to figure that out.
True.
So coming back to your question on that, so I feel like these things are definitely away from. We are trying to figure out how to leverage the data that we have into our strategies, and how to make the best use of it. I mean, just getting in your basic likes, impressions and stuff. Another thing that I think from a technology perspective that I feel really is something that we marketers need to use is the CRM database, and how the marketing strategies can kind of interject into that, like get a little bit more focused on your client, understand your clients of time. So yeah, I mean, at least I haven't adopted a digital strategy per se. There is a marketing strategy where,
but this
all
is
these
as and when the situation comes, it's the strategies which come up at
we
that
then
particular
So
time.
for example, I'll tell you a simple thing. Basically, we had this thank you week that happens in office, and this I'm talking from an employee engagement perspective. So there were a bunch of things that we did. We had emailers that went out. We had a video that we had created. We had we had like an offline engagement where we had cards where people would write on them. So it just, I mean, so it's basically like,
That's so interesting.
the agenda is taken, and then we figure out how to fix everything. For
Okay.
example, again, if there is an event that we are participating in, so I will make sure that there is, offline collaterals over there. So then that becomes an offline engagement. I'll make sure that we are putting all of that in social media. Then I might also, take a video bite of the partner and maybe publicize it accordingly. I'll put video content for that event. So it basically just try to see what is the best touch points, what are the best touch points that we need to basically strategize on a particular activity that we work on. So that's how I work. I'm not saying that that's probably how everybody works or something. I'm sure somebody will have a different way to work with it. But this is how I feel that, works best for professional services, because every time it's a different need that is there. We've
And you
done
cannot
training
copy
that
paste one strategy to another.
can't copy paste one. We just can't do that. And so there are times when one of the engagements that we do is, we have, say we have a training in a client's office. So that will again be a different thing. A lot of offline collaterals. And then maybe we kind of put, take a testimony of that client. So that will be a video. Then we might take, we might have pictures, and then that gets on social media. So there are like multiple then touch points that we have. So it really like depends on how we want to do it. And yeah, it's been working really well. And I mean, I've seen a lot of, change that has happened even in my current organization. So it's a good validation.
Super. We spoke about brand positioning. So if you help me understand, how crucial is brand positioning in the sector where credibility and trust are paramount? These are very important aspects. Positioning through your marketing strategies, Rati.
So I think brand position is supremely important, which unfortunately a lot of people do not focus on. And I mean, you can make out that there is no positioning for this particular brand because you see the content and the messaging happening so differently all the time. Like it's just, there is absolutely no consistency. And for me, I feel that is definitely important on how I'm going to position the brand. And that positioning, helps me drive a lot of my content strategy, because once I get the positioning in place, then I will figure out, how I want to, what is my message for this particular campaign, how visually I want to approach it and all of that. So we spend a lot of time, creating that position. Now, we are a global brand. So a lot of the positioning happens at a global level, and we get it. But once we get that, then we are, totally like, okay, we are going to be using that positioning, and there's no two ways about it. For example, one of the, our last year, our entire positioning was act for what's next. So that was the positioning that we were, working. So everything, our collaterals kind of give that message subtly. Our content gives that message subtly. The way people talk also, I've realized that they start driving that message really consistently. And consistency is the key in our work.
True.
You get more consistent in how you're putting things out. You will stay in people's mind, and this is something that we're also driving, and that I'm also driving it at Mazars, because it's like we have to have that consistency. People need to look at what we're talking, what we're saying, how we're putting it out, and then that should happen without, and we should have be recognized without even having a logo over there.
Rati, also you are saying about, see, being in the creative field has their own, pros and cons. And handling a team like, creative folks is also different. So what is your leadership style in, managing them and motivating them, So that's again something which our viewers would love to know.
My style of working is I do a lot of brainstorming, because I feel like that, like suddenly something clicks from somewhere.
Yeah.
There is of course there is a thought that we come into the brainstorm. So there is always one person who's responsible to bring those initial thoughts into it, but we all come into the conversation with our thoughts, and these things definitely help. But I think at the end of the day, remember the fact that they are business people. They understand business more. You're marketing, so you understand marketing more. Like, don't ever forget that. It could be any levels and any
this is
somebody
very important thing. Yeah.
which don't forget what value you bring to the table. Like, do not forget that. And then I think my last thing is, what I tell the team most of the time is that do things that is valuable.
Okay.
You are proud of at the end, like something you can talk about. Like, do not be like, man, I've sent 10 emails today and I've done a lot of work. Like, that's not work. Do things which add value, which you also feel proud of. Like, do things which you feel proud of. Do things which you want to grow.
Okay. So with this, now we are moving towards a section called rapid fire round. It's a very quick round.
Am I going to get a coffee hamper?
I wish we could have, met in person. So this section is very interesting, and this also allows our viewers, listeners to know you as a person a little more than your professional, way. So shall we start? The rules are you have to answer in one word.
Okay. Oh,
Or
okay.
as minimum word as possible.
As minimal as possible. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited.
What is your favorite age so far?
I think my 40s have been my favorite age. Everything is like nicely stacked up. You know yourself. You have a fair understanding of other people. So it's been a good age.
Super. What is your favorite work memory?
Oh, I think so I turned 40 on one of the biggest events that happened in Deloitte. Like, it's called the RISCON. So we used to be a part of it. So that was my this thing, and I turned 40 on that particular day.
Oh.
So it was this event was also there, then this was there, and it was really great to see how everybody just kind of and it was like a lot of work. Sorry, I'm answering in more than a few questions, but I'm saying
That's
that
okay. That's interesting.
a little bit of background. There's like a lot of work. We were just work. I mean, events are like like literally your manual labor at the end of it, like on the few days before the event, you're literally under tables trying to plug something, and all of these things. And it was really great how my team got together, how everybody else got together. It was like celebrated at the end of it. So it was supreme. So it was great.
What has changed the most since you have started working here?
So work-wise, I feel that there's a lot of I think that we are seen differently as drivers rather than enablers in the organization. So I will give that to my team and myself to, push that and like fight so many battles and all of those things. But I think at the end of the day, it's been 7 months, and I feel like we're somewhere in that manner.
Nice. What advice would you give an employee on their first day of work?
Understand the organization, and secondly, try to figure out what is your journey going to be, which is what I also mentioned earlier, that like craft your journey. I believe in that.
If you could not work in this industry, what profession would you pursue?
So, I mean, this is something that I tell myself a lot, which is the first time I'm going to tell it in public. But I genuinely feel that I'm more of a kingmaker than the king. So I think I'll do something in that line itself, be somewhere doing a similar thing. The other thing that I also, feel really passionate about is to build communities.
Okay.
So, some way in that way, find like maybe an offline space where communities are built.
So when are you most productive?
Mornings, hands-on.
What would you change about yourself if given a chance?
I would take things less seriously.
Superb. So with this, we are out of the rapid fire round. And before we wind up this
How did I do?
conversation,
Am I worthy enough to
it
get
was
the hamper?
superb. It was superb. A very different, facets and aspects we could hear from you. So what would be your message for any aspiring marketing professional?
I think as marketers, we have to constantly keep ourselves inspired. So I feel like aspiring marketing professionals, as much as you understand the degree and you have the knowledge for it, you have to constantly keep growing and inspiring yourself. Creativity is definitely the key, but content is the king. And I think the third advice that I would definitely give all marketers is that no matter what level you are in the organization, think of you as a business driver. You are not a comms team, you're not an enabler, you're not a support function. So go in with that mindset, you will do wonders. You will, as a driver, you will understand the business more. It's just a matter of changing your thought process. I feel it's important. Marketing is very important. It is something that, adds a lot of value. But let's add that value. Like there's no point in saying or, talking about ki I couldn't do it or, I didn't get support. No. Let's go out there and make sure we get whatever we want to. If it's about, grab your opportunity. No more can't be sitting and saying that we don't have the power, we don't have this, we don't have that. We have everything. If we want, we can get it.
So that was an amazing input, Prati, from your side. Amazing value addition. And I have thoroughly enjoyed the whole conversation along with your beautiful smile and great vibe. Thank you for being here, Prati.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Awesome. I'm sure कि आपको ये वीडियो बहुत ही insightful and informative लगा होगा. Let us know in the comment section which part of the video you loved the most. हम ऐसे ही इंडिया के top business brand secrets आपके पास लाते रहते हैं. Please do not forget to subscribe our channel Icons Behind Brands. And that's all for today. I am Deblina Nyogi signing off until next time.